there was one video that I wanted Disney parks to watch from me, it's this one. Cannot tell you how passionate I am on the subject of Genie Plus and the ways that I think that it could change that would benefit literally each and every guest that walk through the turnstiles, whether they buy it or not. As it stands, Genie Plus is too affordable to be effective. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, it's sometimes $30 to $35 a person. About that is affordable for a family of four. I'm not saying that it's cheap, but what I'm saying is it's too affordable to be effective. And let me explain the difference. If something is $30 on average, that is, yes, a big chunk to add to a family of four or more's trip, but it is not so expensive that it would prevent them from purchasing it, correct? Whereas you have the Universal model or the Knott's Berry Farm model where it is $100 or more, and that makes it so that a lot less people buy it. If less people buy Genie Plus, that's a good thing. That makes Genie Plus more effective for those who have purchased it, and it makes the standby line move faster for those who have not. Let me explain. In that period where the parks reopened, but there was no Fast Pass or Lightning Lane or Genie Plus that didn't exist, there was this sweet spot of like 6 months where there was nothing. And I swear on my life, the lines were never more than like 20 minutes long. And why is that? Because when you're only siphoning in one line and it's just constantly rotating in, and there's no stopping and prioritizing different people. And what is that? That just clogs up the system because anybody who enters this Lightning Lane line needs to be prioritized, right? Which makes the line longer for the standby people. And then when this standby line gets so long, what does that incentivize people to do? To buy Genie Plus, which then makes the Lightning Lane line really freaking long. So it's not a walk-on necessarily if you're in Lightning Lane, and it's definitely a lot longer for the standby. What would fix this is if Lightning Lane was more expensive, so there was less people in this line, and then the standby is more like just moving and grooving, and every once in a while you get a Lightning Lane person thrown in there because there aren't that many of them. And you're probably thinking, well, Disney doesn't want to lose out on the money of having less people buy it. No, I got a solution for that too. Let's say that only 1/4 of the amount of guests who buy Genie Plus now would buy it if it was at this new rate. Disney would still be making literally the same amount of money because they would have increased the price by 4 times. So it ends up evening out. Their net is the same. And not only would they make the same amount of money, but every single guest that walks through their park would be having a better experience because of it, whether they bought it or not, which creates better goodwill, which creates return guests, which makes people who did buy Lightning Lane feel like they got something for their money. And the people who didn't still feel like it's a good value and that they're having fun and they don't feel scammed or cheated. Please, Disney, just make the Genie Plus system more expensive. Please, 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 please. Sincerely, your friendly neighborhood theme park theorist.